Hello. So it's been a week since we've had meat birds, and I feel like it's been a week too long, a week too many, or whatever the phrase is. I'm tired. This method of cold brooding really requires a lot of just checking in on them, because I don't have a mother hen, or I don't have a brooding plate or a heat lamp. I don't have a consistent way to keep them warm. And this last week we went through a cold spell, so almost every night was dipping down to 3 degrees. So I was waking up multiple times throughout the night and putting in bottles of hot water. So I'll show you what I've been doing. So either milk jugs or coffee cans, and I would fill them up with hot water, and then I would put them in the brooder box with them, and they would huddle around it. The milk jugs or the Folgers cans, they lose their heat depending on the coldness, anywhere between 2 to 4 hours. For almost a week, I had them all together in one brooder box, and I would put in about 3 milk jugs at night. So I would probably around 9 o'clock, I would put in 3 milk jugs, and then I would wake up 2-3 hours later, boil some more hot water, and do the same thing all over again. After I think 2 or 3 nights of doing that, I thought this was insane. I can't be waking up every 2-3 hours doing this. So I put in hot water jugs and made sure that they were well covered up, and I just let them be. And last night it went down pretty cool, and I was really kind of worried, especially because I have just now split them up, so there's less of them, so less body heat. But woke up today and everyone's doing really, really well. So 2 things. The brooder box build seems to work out really, really great. I had to take out the insulation about 3 days in, as we noticed they started pecking at the styrofoam, and that's just too dangerous for them. If they were to swallow it, they might not be able to pass it. It could choke them, and it's just not good for them. So it could be very fatal, and I don't want them eating styrofoam. I want them eating food. So we took out all of that, which made them a little bit more vulnerable to the cold, but we just did the best we could. We did keep the top of their brooder box covered with a piece of insulation, so at least their body heat would hit the insulation and stay there, and then we put a blanket on. During the day, we pull the insulation back and the blanket back, and we shade them because then it gets quite warm in here. But they've been managing just fine, and then we open up the side vents that I put in here when it was a seeding house for our plants, so in order for them to get some air movement. According to all the books and stuff that I've read, you're supposed to keep them near a heat source for 6 weeks. That's just not possible. Probably later on this week, we're going to start bringing them out into a safe space just during the day to kind of harden them off like plants, even though they've been living outside since they got here. And possibly by next week, we might be putting them out full time, as our nighttime temperatures shouldn't be dipping cold anymore. It should start actually staying warm throughout the night. And this is just, it's kind of like plants. We have to harden up these birds. We don't have the facility to keep them warm. And this space in here can get scary hot with the poly. So if they're not freezing at night, I could be cooking them during the day. So it's not an ideal situation, but it's what we have. And from this, we will definitely learn and adjust for next time. I think that's about all I have to say for the brooding box. I left the insulation on the floor, and I did a little bit more deep bedding so they didn't scratch up the bedding and peck at the insulation, but I haven't noticed any of that. The one thing that I do use to help me kind of keep an eye on the temperature in here, it's tough to know what their brooder box temperature is, but I can keep a rough eye on the temperature of this space with this device. I've done a review on it. I will make sure to link it. It's a super great product. It's a Bluetooth thermometer and I think a hygrometer. I could be wrong. It does humidity as well, so it lets me know how humid the space is and my temperature. So right now in here it's sitting around 14, 15 degrees. I came in at about 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning and put in a warm hot water bottle. And normally between 4 and 6 in the morning, that's when it's going to be at its coldest. So I come in, put a hot water bottle in, and then they're good for the rest of the day, and they won't get a hot water bottle till tonight. And that's it for the brooder box. As for the chicks themselves, we've lost two. Neither took hold. One of them, we're not too sure how he passed. My son just found a dead bird. The second one, sadly, the watering can. We have 1-gallon jug watering feeders, and I would actually sweep them out of the way when I was putting down the watering feeders, but somehow one got underneath there. And when I went to go change his water, I found him. So that really sucks. I know that this is a part of, especially this is a huge part of meat birds. Loss is always expected, but it's a loss nonetheless, and it's a senseless loss. And when you feel like it's more on you than just a natural occurrence, it eats at you a little bit more. But sadly, mistakes have to be made in order for you to be able to learn from those lessons. And now I'm just a lot more diligent when it comes to putting in their water and putting in their feeder and anything else, and just trying to be very diligent if I have to go in, where I step, etc. First 3 days they were cute. After that they stink, they smell. I guess that's one and the same, and they're starting to look pretty gross. We have not had to deal with any pasty butt. I don't know why. I'm thankful that we haven't. And every time I have to move them, whatever, I'm constantly flipping up butts and checking on them. Their first 3 days, we gave them magic water. And you can check out my brooder box build. That'll show you how I built these boxes. And you can also check out what we did my first day and night with our birds. So the first 3 days I made a water called magic water, and it's got garlic and honey and apple cider vinegar. And all of them are antibacterial, they're immune supporting, they're gut supporting, they're just healthy, probiotic, prebiotic, rich ingredients that you can infuse your water with to give your chicks a better start. And I honestly think that the magic water is what helped him get through those first 3 cold days. The basis around giving any animal, and even yourself, nourishing your gut. When your gut is nourished, you can handle stressors better. If your gut is inflamed, if you're having trouble with your gut, your digestion, your body has to work on that, and then you add a stressor and it can't handle that. So if your gut is supported, if the basis of your health is supported, you can handle outside stressors a lot better. And I truly, no research, no proof, but I personally believe that the magic water is what helped get my birds through the first few days. After day 3, they just get water with a capful of apple cider vinegar, and we have now started fermenting their feed. We've also started feeding them grasses and worms. My boys like to get worms for them and feed them, and bugs. It's like Fight Club. It's pretty interesting to watch. A lot of tug of war, a lot of running. It's amazing. You throw feed in and they eat it, but they don't act like crazy. They just don't act insane. But you throw worms in there and they somehow know that that's worms, and it's bonkers. Yeah, other than that, where we can, I'm feeling pretty confident and pretty successful that we got through this first tough week. Now it's all about getting them outside and predator control. We have got poultry netting. We've been throwing around a few ideas. Again, our situation isn't like the videos that we see or the books that we read. We don't have flat land. So movable tractors is kind of a little bit difficult. So what we are going to do is we got poultry netting, and we're going to build a small coop for them to go in at night. So the poultry netting should take care of the predator load, and they will be kind of following the pigs in the forest line, so hopefully that'll take care of the aerial predators. But at night, just to be safe, we will move them. We will have a coop inside that will also provide them shade during the day and stuff, but where they can go into at night, and we can lock them up and make sure that they're safe. So they have like a double wall. They have electric netting, and then they have the inside coop. And we will have them following the pigs and scratching up everything that the pigs have gone through. And then we'll also be feeding them like weeds and grasses and whatever else we manage to get our hands on. Out, out, out. We were feeding our birds one day worms, and somehow our dog managed to weasel the door open, come in, and while we were feeding them worms, she managed to scoop up her own bird. And funny enough, I told her to drop it. She dropped it, and that bird's still alive. So it's you know, how a bird lives from a dog attack versus doesn't move out of the way when a watering can's coming down is beyond me, but that apparently is meat birds for you. A weekend, and yeah, I'm pretty happy that we've only lost 2. I wish we had lost none. I am already counting down the days to butchering. So make sure you check out those other videos and let me know what you think. If you've raised meat birds before, if you have any tips or tricks, advice, please let me know in the comments below. And thanks so much for being here.